Hello and welcome to the Tip the Trap podcast from myself, Sam.
And me, Alex.
We're talking mostly nonsense about our favourite music and artist. Thank you and hope you enjoy listening to today's episode.
Welcome. I think this is this number 5?
Yeah, I think 5.
Yeah, brill. I just want to say as well, I don't know why, but the last one we did, the Kings of Leon one, was popping off a lot more than the 3 we've done before.
Yeah, we hit 100 on it. Woo!
Get in. Do you get anything for 100? You know, you get them plaques for like 1 million and stuff. Get anything like a pen or...
yeah, you'd think so. Fountain pen would go miss.
Yeah, like a YouTube fountain pen. That'd be
pretty good, wouldn't it?
Yeah, I'd probably lose it, but yeah, good.
I want to cherish it.
No.
I need a memorabilia room.
Well, listen, we're getting there. Hopefully this one gets double, and then, you know, by the time we get to 100 of these podcasts, maybe we'll be on 1,000 views.
Then we can start giving out free stuff.
Yeah.
Apart from both a bit tight, so maybe not.
I think we'll get any advertisers coming asking us to...
I don't know what brands do we like. Can we name brands though?
Can we name brands? I don't think there's any harm in naming the big ones. I don't think they care enough, do they?
I don't think they're listening, are they?
No, exactly. Maybe they will listen, and then, you know, if we get sued or anything, that'll be big news, won't it?
Yeah, that'll be big news.
Although
I'll lose the £1.50 I've actually got in my account.
Yeah, can't lose that. Okay, so sorry about that rambling. What have you been up to this last week, Al?
Not a lot, really. What did I do? It was away in Lake District.
Oh, yeah, you went to Cartmel, didn't you?
Yeah, it might not mean a lot for our overseas viewers, as we say, we're popping off now, so better be quite international.
Yeah, so talk to me about Cartmel then.
It was good, lost some money, got sunstroke, returned back home. What about you? You've been up to much?
Do you know, two things actually. So I watched a great film that I think most of the internet's talking about called Obsession.
Nice. Good, scary.
Yeah, very scary.
It's that scary. The dog behind me's just started crying. If you can hear whimpering, it's not me.
Yeah, apologies. We're in a room with my dog because we're struggling at the minute because my partner's away, and sorry, I'm very distracted because he's moving around a lot, chucking some pillows off.
He's destroying.
This might work better on video and might have been funnier.
Yeah, he's on a mad one. I think he wants to get involved. I think he had an album to bring to the table.
Oh God, yeah, brilliant. He's just scratching the couch at the minute. This probably wasn't the best setting or
He's
time to
literally
do
been
it.
asleep until now.
Yeah, so to summarise, I've been left with 2 dogs, but I've got 1 at the moment, and yeah, normally be in a room somewhere with my partner to stop this, but I didn't really have a say, so apologies if you hear scratching from a dog, whimpering from a dog, barking.
He is well treated, by the way. Just
Oh yeah. Don't get RSPCA involved. He is fine. He's just slightly irritated because it's been rainy today and I've not walked him, so I think he's slightly frustrated. But he again, RSPCA, he
does normally get good exercise.
Yeah.
You really digging a hole here. Let's just say he's sat on a chair like he owns the
and
place.
and he's smiling right now. He is a happy boy.
Some would say panting and in need of water.
God, stop it. Anyway, should we get to what the subject matter is today?
Let's go.
I think this was your idea. If you want to explain your thought process with the album choice that you had.
Yeah, so I sort of came to you and thought, it's normally each week sort of starts by one of us bringing an album and the other finding something else to compare it against, sometimes same band, sometimes different one. An album I've always loved, so I'll say what mine is Up the Bracket by the Libertines. Debut album, and I think it's safe to say this one took a while actually for you. Obviously you've got to find something what we believe, not necessarily a similar vein, but something you could actually say is comparable to it, and I think it shows the sign of a good album. I think it took you a while, didn't it, to find one.
To give some context to that, you know, we was playing around with different themes to maybe do, and I think which record label's this under? Is it
Rough Trade?
Rough Trade, sorry, I just escaped my brain then. But Rough Trade, and I was looking at different albums, and I also got some quite conflicting information, which, you know, Google's great for at the minute, of different albums. It started off saying Bjork debut was Rough Trade, which it is not.
and then it said the XX was, but then when I go on the Wikipedia, which, you know, again, shouldn't be getting all my information from Wikipedia, but that kind of said something slightly different. So I didn't want to do that and then get fact checked in the comments section of this podcast. So I decided to go for an album that was this year, and like Alex said, it is really hard because I wanted something that could actually justify saying was a good album, because I do love Up the Bracket, and I needed something that could argue my case with being as good at, and without building any suspense anymore. That album is The Streets, first album, original Pirate Material.
Very nice. A good album. And I will say, when Sam brought it, I had heard it and I was into The Streets, but not as much. I think this got a massive cult following, and I wasn't on that. In fact, in school and stuff, for whatever reason, instead of just listening to it, I pretended I heard it when everyone was on about it.
Well, I think when, by the time that The Streets did the second album, that was when I think they kind of got much more mainstream, you know, with I think, what's the song called? Dry Your Eyes and Fit But Don't You Know It. Yeah. That's probably when they got to that massive. But honestly, I love this album. Probably when I was about 12 or something. Obviously, I was a bit young in 2002 to be listening to this, but I do remember hearing some of the songs on this album, which was probably inappropriate for my age, so nobody be doing that. But yeah, I love The Streets, I love the sound, I love Mike Skinner, I think he's a genius, and I think he's got some great lyrics, and I think that video popped round recently of him doing that Fred Again show.
I was going to mention that actually, yeah, that was one with the Underworld bit in it. I mean, the way them two go together.
Oh, it's brilliant, and obviously it's one of the songs that's on this album as well.
Yeah.
So that just, you know, makes it really convenient for me, especially when we're doing this, of it being relevant. But yeah, I think what's great about doing these two albums is they're probably both for the genre music, especially for British music, quite defining for this period.
Yeah, definitely. Same year, two debut albums. Quite. I think obviously one's got a lot more electronic elements in it in terms of the music, and one's proper scatty indie rock, isn't it? But both, even for electronic, it's not that polished sound, is it? What would you say? Is it like underground garage type?
That's probably how I'd describe it. Yeah,
fat bass. Sounding.
I mean, it's just got a lot of them elements, but then I think, like you say, I think what this has done for a lot of that garage sort of like genre music, I think it's just it brought a lot of artists to the scene, and I think it really, I don't want to say inspired because maybe people wouldn't say it themselves, but like after this is when people like Dizzy Rascal came on the scene and stuff like that, when like that grime sort of hype became a thing, and I think this year is where that sort of came to play, and I'd stand by that The Streets were a massive part of that.
And yeah, and obviously lyrical theme very of the time, and things like that, discussing the day-to-day life. Yeah. Which again, I'd say that's a comparison with the Libertines. They're discussing their life and their background and what's happening.
This, I know we touched on it on the 2001 podcast we did, but this is very much that sort of working class sort of rather council estates, or you know.
The underground.
Yeah, and that both these albums I think touch on that sort of way of living, which is pretty. I don't necessarily want to say cool, but it was probably something very relatable for the times, wasn't it? Especially.
Yeah, definitely, and I think it showed. I like when stuff gets big and it's not got that overly polished pop sound. It has got that underground, and then people just sort of catch on to it, and then they run with it.
Yeah,
it felt like both. Neither album I'd say is a big overthink or overcomplicate. It's a lot like obviously Problem Off the Streets, get the beat down, get that sounding good, then move on to your lyrical theme of your life.
I think Mike Skinner recorded most of the obviously the vocals in just a little wardrobe.
Yeah, I can imagine.
It's just crazy, isn't it? And you can see it's got that raw sound, which I love, and I do think it is something that's considered quite. I know The Streets
probably gone in and out of it, but like I mentioned, that Fred again sort of performance, you could just see when he came on stage, like I don't know how many people were in that crowd, but it was massive, wasn't it?
Yeah, it's never really gone away, because when was it at Glastonbury's in the crowd and he lost was it that when he lost his shoe, or was that another performance?
No,
but they always pull a massive crowd,
they
don't
do.
they? And like you can see how much people are having fun, and I feel like that's gone. Not to go off these two albums a bit and get too into the state of today, because I think there is some great stuff, but I wouldn't, unless maybe I'm not in touch, but I wouldn't say the underground sound that these two albums had would hit the mainstream as much as they would now. You know, zero auto tune, Libertines, I don't play to a click track.
Yeah.
I don't even really track much in separate. You know, let's add this guitar in here. It was what came out in the room. As you can hear in all the bum notes and everything.
And it's funny you say that, because with the Streets in particular, like American hip hop from like the middle of the 90s onwards was just so massive, wasn't it? And so polished by like brilliant producers like Dr. Dre, etc.
Yeah.
This is such
firmly become the mainstream, hasn't it?
and this is such a contrast, and it's so colloquial to like that. You know, all the lyrics that we've just mentioned. It's very British, like humour and very British sort of scenarios that happen in day-to-day life.
Definitely is.
Oh, and I just wanted to touch on mentioning the live performances there, and Glastonbury's particularly. You unfortunately missed the Libertines at Glastonbury just gone.
Yes, I did, because
someone not me though.
someone not you. Well, yeah, Sam's partner, he's also left him alone with the dog. Really digging around. And so what our plan was, we were leaving the Sunday night, and we had all our stuff, so we packed up, and so we said we'd take it all to the car in the morning, come back in for the day, catch Libertines, and then
and they were on at 2, weren't they? So we had plenty of time.
Stay around Pyramid Stage. So what actually happened is Regan had been the tickets, which meant you couldn't actually get out.
Which, to be fair, we have wristbands, so I didn't really understand that. What's the point of the wristband if you need a ticket?
If you need a ticket, let's get on to let's not really make too much of a deal, because I'm hoping for some freebies next year from Glasgow. So maybe they have a podcast bit. But basically, it meant me and my girlfriend Beth lugging 4 people's worth of stuff out, and Sam being able to sit at the Pyramid Stage, having a beer, watching the Libertines.
I'll be honest though, they weren't that good, so does that help?
Oh yeah, that helps. Yeah, that's. I'd rather be sat watching them not be so good than lugging your tent.
Yeah, I don't think you were very happy when you came back, but it weren't my fault. So.
No, I wasn't happy to see how elated you were that you informed me how much of a good day I think you were having.
You made it though for Nile Rodgers, so
made it for Nile Rodgers, Rod Stewart.
Although we did queue up the bar for Nile Rodgers and was missing quite a good few songs, which was gutting. But we're both in the same boat for that one. We've gone on a massive tangent today, haven't we?
I know we have. Should we bring it back round? Do you want to chuck a track into the mix?
No. Hold your horses. This is where we need like little sound clips. Like this should be facts and lies.
Do you want to do our facts and lies segment?
I feel like we need a little jingle or something. Can you
facts
get it?
And lies. Does that work?
I think you just did what I did, but a bit better. Don't get me wrong. But...
yeah, just rehashed your bit.
Yeah. Okay, well, this is the facts and lies section.
This is the facts and lies section.
It's Alex's turn this week to give me something.
So, this is on the Libertines. It's what I've done. I've gone away. I mean, it's pretty self-explanatory, isn't it?
Can we do the scoreboard for this as well? Because in the first week I got it wrong. And
yeah.
You got it. Oh, you got it wrong last week.
I got it wrong last week.
Okay, so
yeah.
0-0. Right?
0-0, yeah. Not much of a scoreboard. And if anyone has listened to the other podcast, doubt it, or stuck around for
please listen, please. Because I'm not being funny. The first video got 27 views, the second got 20, the third got 20, and then we're on a boom with Kings of Leon. With
let's not get too baggy though. Keep our cool.
Okay, the fans will come. Yeah.
But my point was, even when we compare our 5 tracks against each other, we tend to lose count. Have you got a pen and paper to score it this week?
I will do it on my notes professionally this time.
Professionally, okay.
Yeah.
That's good. I've got a lot of faith in that.
No,
okay, here are my 3 statements. 1 truth, 2 lies. The Libertines released a music video where they torture, interrogate versions of themselves. Pete and Carl once planned a concept album about a pirate radio station broadcasting from a sinking ship. And the first one, Gary Powell, the drummer, briefly tried to get the band to enter Eurovision under a fake country name.
They all sound dodgy as hell, but this band is quite dodgy as hell,
Yeah.
so... what's the first one again?
The Libertines released a music video where they torture, interrogate versions of themselves.
How many things I feel like I do remember of a music video a bit like that, but I mean, you're staring at me with this weird poker face right now. So.
Yeah. I know we didn't give it away, go. You are correct, sir.
They all kind of sound untrue to me, but I guess that's the point of the game.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go with. Fun fact: I've got Gary Powell on Facebook. Do you think I
Oh
could
my
ask
god,
you?
I was going to say to me before this, you're going to plug that again. Think about this every time.
I don't want to promote it too much because he might find out and delete me, and
Yeah.
I quite like having him on there.
How did that actually work? Sad.
Randomly, a guy on who I was friends with on Facebook, just a friend in school said that he'd asked him and he accepted, so I just tried the same and then he accepted. Yeah.
He was on the lookout for friends.
Yeah, I was 14. I think
I was going to say young boys, I don't want to incriminate the poor bloke.
I think the guy just accepted every friend request. I'm putting out that he never messaged me or liked any of my photos.
This is not going to be good when we're up in court.
No, it seems like a lovely dude. Post some cool stuff as well, actually, to be fair. Like, honestly, post this photo with Morrissey one time. Sorry, I'm just procrastinating because I'm going to get this question wrong. I'm going to go that the first one's a lie.
And you're wrong.
Oh, okay.
Really bad. What? No, two are lies.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah, oh my
Oh,
god.
good. I was getting. Okay, I think the third one's a fact.
You think the third one's a fact?
Yeah.
No.
Oh, Gary, you've let me down.
No.
You're not trying to
Message you. Send him this
Ah.
question. Do you want the answer?
Yeah,
The
come on.
first one's the truth. And I remember. I think it was one. You know when they came back in like the last couple of years. I think it was a recent music video like that. I can't have seen them doing it back in the day. I was
trying to think of the music videos. So like, what became the Light Lads? I remember that because it's like kids on a council estate, isn't it? And like,
Yeah.
sort of playing and stuff. Do you know what? I can't remember most of Libertines' music videos. I can remember Pete Doherty's video for Last of the English Roses.
That was good. He was playing football
And
in
then
that one.
and then he was gay, wasn't he? Wasn't that like the twist on the music video?
Oh, was that?
Yeah.
Don't
Was that
remember
bit-
that.
You know, because like football, it's obviously a taboo thing
Yeah.
considered, even though it's a bit crazy because statistics would show that there are gay people, but people don't want to come out, do they? So
Yeah, I think let's stay clear of any political.
it's not political. It's just a fact.
Yeah, it's not
isn't it?
political. Yeah.
No, I'm just saying that's like the thing of the music video, isn't it?
Libertines, please don't sue us.
I think Pete's got bigger things to worry about.
Yeah, God, you're doing them all and have a pop at Carl next.
I don't know the bass player's name.
I want to say John.
You've gone through that answer.
I actually, that's 7.5.
This is your
out
answer.
of 10. Oh, yeah, so I have to know. Name all the streets.
Mike Skinner.
Is it just him?
He
Who's
had,
just the vocals?
he had that guy, didn't he, who did that? He was like sort of his hype man when he was doing the tutorials, but I'm pretty sure it's just Mike Skinner.
Yeah, but he sings the singy bits.
I'm sure it's that hype man guy.
Hype man does that.
No, because Mike Skinner Mike Skinner sings some of the bits.
Yeah, I don't. Does he sing them in all though? It sounds like somebody
No,
else's
like that
voice.
hasn't come to this. That's definitely someone else.
Yeah.
Like I said, I've seen videos of them do tours, and he had the same hype man for a long time. I can't honestly. I do apologise. Can't remember his name.
I'll also just pound tight before we did this. I said to Sam, "Do you want? Should we sit down and just prep for a little bit?" And he said no. So this is the outcome, guys.
Yeah, but I think if anyone's listened to them all yet, and you're still listening now, it's on you really. You kind of understand what this is.
Like we don't know anything.
We just wanted to do this because we enjoy talking about it and it's fun too.
Yeah, exactly. I quite like though the lie that was Pete and Carl once planned a concept album by a pirate radio station broadcast from a sinking ship just to time with the streets. I thought that was kind of clever.
Oh, yeah. Well,
Why?
yeah, I thought as well. Why that? It was a lie, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Get so confused with this game, and it shouldn't be as complicated as my brain makes it. I feel like you was confused last week, though.
Yeah.
I feel like when you're in control of the question, you get it when you know.
Yeah, it's not Crystal Maze. And you changed it last week, right? Didn't you do 2 truths and 1 lie? Next it'll be 3 truths and no lie. Pick the truth out of all 3. All 3 facts.
But again, this is what you get with the podcast. It keeps you guessing.
Yeah, it does. It does. Our 100 now listeners will be screaming out the answers. Play along at home. We need an app.
Don't be beggy, Alex. No. Oh, do you know what's funny? Right. So Regan hasn't listened to any of them, and last week was on a walk, and I was saying, the Kings of Leon, it's got some views to it. And she was like, oh really? And she was like, oh, I've not really listened to it. I was like, oh. I said, oh, I even mentioned you in the last one. She said, oh really? I'll listen to him then. Because she only wanted to listen to him because she'd been mentioned.
Yeah. I think you mentioned her on all.
Well, yeah.
I think, yeah.
But I thought she would have already listened and found that out.
Yeah.
Turns out she didn't.
Yeah, true. I mean, it's hard graft listening to him. I've struggled. And I'm on him.
Are we just basically not giving people a reason to listen to this?
Yeah. No, it's good. It's cool. It's edgy, innit?
First, we'll see about that.
Oh, edgy or something like that.
So, talk to me a little bit then about Up the Bracket.
Up the Bracket. I'll just go from Libertines in general, really, and cover more what I heard first, which would have been when I was young. I'd have heard Don't Look Back Into the Sun.
Yep, love it.
Would have been the first I've seen on this album, but they had a bit more commercial success off the back of the second one, and Can't Stand Me Now was on that.
That's my favourite song.
Yeah, Music and the Lights Go Out was on that. What Became the Likely Lads.
Are you saying you prefer this album to Up the Bracket?
No, this is how I work right for it. So I'd heard all these great songs and then probably listened to that album first, actually. I think it was like 2 years later, 2004. So probably heard that and then did it in reverse. And then actually on the music channels, I think I'd have heard Up the Bracket and Time for Heroes. And remember the video for Up the Bracket, because I think that was where they first were in the actual red suits, which they were also in Don't Look Back Into the Sun. But yeah, so anyway, so heard the bigger ones and then went back and listened to the first album, and it blew me away. I just thought it was like an amazing album. One I return to a lot as well, and I think that's one of the big things about an album, isn't it? How often you go back to it.
Yeah. It's crazy because I think memory might be wrong here, but I think Parachutes by Coldplay was maybe a year or 2 before this. Was it 2000, 2001?
Yeah, I think it was 2000.
Yeah,
because wasn't Russia Blood to that? We always say Russian Blood. Yeah, we always say a Smiths song. A Russia Blood to the Head.
That came out this year, 2002. Because
yeah.
I was when I was thinking of albums, but I don't want to say boring because they're great songs, but I think this is when Coldplay, for me, I love Parachutes, I do, I like the rawness to that, but I thought they were going in a Radiohead direction, and they have great songs after Parachutes, and I like them all the way through, but I wouldn't have put it in the same bracket as Up the Bracket, pardon the pun.
No, I get it, I quite like Parachute. I quite like the second.
No, I like it, but it's
Courage of Your Conviction, Sam. Your face was saying something different.
No, I like it. I mean, that's slandered. No one can see my face, so I dispute that. But I like it. But it reminds me when I was in primary school, a friend of mine used to do this where when you was doing work and stuff, you could bring an album in. Did you teach them to do this? Oh right. So if it was doing some work where it was literally spent an hour just. Someone could bring a different album in each week, and do you know what? For some reason, it was one album per week, or per day. So this guy.
So all week you've listened to
this album at
Russia Blood to the Head.
Yes, I just keep wanting to say the Smith song, so I just didn't do it. So yeah, listen to all, and it is something you'd be just driving in a car had to. It's nice, and the songs are really good, very talented, good songs, but it's a different contrast to up the bracket, isn't it? I don't think no one's bringing that to school, were they, in primary?
Yeah, I know. All the streets.
I mean, I brought the Kooks in. Man, like this was like in 2000. It was 2006 we was doing this anyway, but that album was like popping off then, wasn't it?
Yeah, that was good.
But then I got in trouble when Jackie Big Tits came on as a song. Yeah.
Good tune, to be fair. Actually, I remember it being CDs being brought in, but there was like they'd load up YouTube. And speaking of the Kooks, we had IT teacher loved them, but only loved Naive, and she moves in her own way. So for 50 minutes, just rotated between them two songs.
Yeah, no. I not only did that song get me in trouble, everyone really didn't like the Kooks at that point, but I guarantee everyone in that year in 2006, by the time we got to 2009, we're all tweeting songs by like Naive and Jimmy.
You were first there, weren't you?
I mean,
their gigs were the Kooks and you.
Basically, yeah, honestly. Are they still going, the Kooks? Or?
I watched, I think so. They appear every so often at like a festival, and I think releases stuff. I watched them at Benicassim in 2003, I think.
Is this the most we've talked about everything but the songs that we're going to talk about?
Yeah, I think so.
I like it though.
I like it. We need to reference every single band as the podcast now.
Yeah, no. But yeah, going back, obviously 2002 for albums and stuff, that this is what was my point.
Nice segue back into it.
No, like my point was that like, I think this album, when you've got stuff like Coldplay's music going on, I think Keane were around at this point, weren't they? I want to say.
I don't know. I think Keane feel
like the next year. But do you know what I mean? Like Coldplay started sort of.
I have Bed Shaped On today when I was rushing Matty.
It is a great song. But again, though, that was becoming that style of music. Whereas I think what the Libertines did around here, a bit like when we mentioned the Strokes. And
well,
stuff.
it's a shame we've already done the Strokes because I feel like actually, but Is This It was probably one of the only albums I think that could trumpet maybe at the time. I mean, you're going to give the Streets a good go at trumpeting it, so maybe I don't want to give the game away, but this might end.
No. But like I say, I think like both these albums that we're discussing right now are like a bit of game changers for like British music, and because I do think like America, like with Is This It, like we've talked about the influence that had probably for the UK with indie music, like probably like
Amazon, I think. They were Rough Trade as well on this side.
And they, like Arctic Monkeys were coming soon. I know it's a few years later, but that they're probably getting ready to gig and stuff by like
and they speak openly of the love of the Strokes in America as well, don't they?
I don't think talk about the Libertines though, do they? To be fair, but
no, they don't. But
it made things seem probably possible then because Oasis was so dominated still really at this point.
Yeah, and I think was Even Chemistry 2002 actually? I
think it is, yeah.
Stand on the Shoulders I think was that 2000, and then Even Chemistry. So you've fallen. Yeah, I think people. I mean, I'd say fallen off. Them still headlining. Well, not headlining, but doing their own gigs at Wembley.
But I think, like I said, I think sometimes for bands and for music scene, you need to see it be done, and like obviously Oasis will have done that in the 90s, and then everyone wants to sound like Oasis.
I think because Libertines. I think I've watched some documentaries as well where there's been segments on the Libertines and Noel Gallagher's popped up and spoke about them, and then there's been points on Oasis where Pete Doherty's popped up and spoke about them.
Well, this is it because there's that famous video, isn't there, of
with him standing outside waiting for
queued up for Be Here Now, isn't he? Which is funny because it's a famous line that he says, isn't it? He says like he's talking about Liam and Noel. I can't remember the line. It's like. Did he say that Liam's a court jester or something?
Yeah, I can't remember.
But it's dead clever.
Funny. Really. Yeah, he's a funny man. And I think that comes out in the lyrics. Yeah. Obviously, he was like, because on about poetry and stuff, doesn't he? You know, he was, I think, a poet first and just wrote that. And then I think Matt Carl, who was more the other side, a bit more proficient at guitar, and then, they merged and came out thinking. I mean, they've had a mad history though. When you read about the stories, because I was talking with the other big fact of theirs, but I thought it might be too obvious and well documented. But I don't know if you know of Pete breaking into the flat after Carla kicked him out and stuff. and there's stuff like that.
But again, like, 2002, this is probably for both of our sort of albums. So like Eminem that year with the Eminem show absolutely dominated music. Was probably the biggest thing. I remember being a kid and I had an older cousin who was just like obsessed with Eminem back then. And the Streets is so different to that. And then you've got, Nickelback, who was like huge in 2002 with How You Remind Me came out.
Yo, yeah.
So
it's time for music, really, wasn't it?
Well, it is, but like the interesting bit is like that sort of stuff was dominating, and this was coming out, and this is kind of like the British scene, because I think around this point in 2002 and 2001 as well, which we discussed, I think there was a lot of I think Pop Idol was like massive at this point.
Yeah.
Was this the year with Will Young, by the way, with
against Gareth Gate?
I think this is the year.
I think it's
for
probably
that.
I
think
God, it was all happening in the early 2000s, wasn't it? What a time to be alive.
And I think Robbie Williams was dominating all the time. So like, I think music needed
it needed that edge. It needed that edge, didn't it?
Needed the streets and stuff, because we could have gone on a dire path there with music, couldn't we? And I think good music.
As much as I love Robbie Williams, again.
No, I love Robbie Williams, but I don't think I don't know what came out that he did that year, but I just remember it being massive at that point.
Yeah, or still lingering, because I think his first two they were late 90s, weren't they?
Yeah.
And he was still obviously massive hits.
Yeah. Right, we've chatted about all that for a long time. Should we get to our songs?
Yeah, let's go.
We don't have to not make this super confusing. I threw you off last week, didn't I, with the top trumps situation?
Yeah, I didn't really get that.
Okay, we didn't get that, so let's.
I'm easily startled.
Yeah, let's just let's just. We've got a list of 5 songs each. We'll just we'll see which one we prefer out of the two and argue the case for that.
Yeah, let's go for it.
Do you want to start with your first song, Al?
Yeah, so the first on my list. So again, no top trumps rules that Sam's throwing in. He's Death on the Stairs.
Ooh.
Nice song. No, I really like it. I think it's great I think it shows a softer side as well in it. It's obviously still got the, that scattiness and rawness, but it's got, I think, Pete's voice in, so he can shout in certain bits, but I think this shows more like he's got a really angelic vulnerability, I'd say, in his voice. I think that comes out. The other point on this, Death on the Stairs, obviously, there's 2 singers, and there's Kyle Barat and Pete. They duet on this one.
Yeah, which is my favourite part of whatever the Libertines do a song, right?
Yeah, the conversation almost between the two.
Yeah, and Can't Stand Me Now is my favourite song because of that. Really.
Because and the directness at each other. But yeah, and I just think it's so good that you've got your theme and then you've got both of because I think they both are great lyricists, and you can see that when they work together and both, the sort of really vibing off each other. I think in this, I think Carl does the first bit. I think he takes you up to the chorus, and then Pete comes in and delivers the verse, and then it comes back around or whatever. But yeah, I'm a big fan of it.
Cool. That was a good argument. It'll take a lot for me to beat that with my song, which is Has It Come to This, which I absolutely. Not my favourite song of this album, but it was probably the song that got me into this album, because I think when I first sort of heard The Streets, we discussed the big songs that they did on the next album, Grand Not One Too Cheap. When I found this album and started really listening to it, this was the first one that made me think, oh, I need to listen to the whole album because this is the second song on it. But yeah, I needed to listen to it, all the elements of it, like that repetitive sort of tagline. It just feels so raw as a song, and I just, like I said, I'm not going to start doing all the lyrics. I'm not going to rap.
I was really hoping you were going to bring a rap.
I mean, it's quite difficult with my album that I picked here because it's rap and a lot of it's, but the instrumental parts on it are really cool, and that sort of piano kicks in and stuff, and it just I just love, like,
if you listen to it with headphones and like he's saying lines like sit back and relax, it for some reason it gives me a bit of ASMR vibes to it.
Yeah, it puts you in a place, doesn't it?
Like I feel like he's so like a bit like rap is it's like very poetic with his lines and stuff, and you can really visualize what he's saying.
Yeah, and you've almost the way, because it's quite minimalist as well, isn't it? There's not too much going on, and I think you do feel like you're in. I'd say across that whole album, it definitely sets a scene and sticks to that scene, and you're in it. And I think that's probably why it took off as a cultural moment, is because it really is. Every song has put you in a time and a place, and still sends you back to that place if you listen now.
Yeah, and like I said, it just really captures probably what like garage sort of music's about. I think, and I think what's that TV show? They do that pirate radio station that you used to love.
Oh, I forgot they only did like one series or something.
They did two, didn't they? And then the film where they went to Japan.
Sorry, that one. I'm thinking of a different.
What are you
I'm thinking of it. I watch a different pirate radio thing going.
It's quite a niche topic of TV series.
That's my mastermind subject. But yeah,
didn't know the answer to it though. So.
Yeah, people just do nothing.
People just do
I was
nothing.
on a own show.
But like, it gives me that sort of vibe, like this sort of song. Like that was the first thing when you told me.
Because the thing is, even though they're a parody and obviously it's a sitcom, they're actually really like Corrupt FM are great actually.
Yeah, but that's what like when you told me to watch that show, that's what sort of it took me straight to the street sort of music, and maybe that's just a overgeneralisation because I don't listen to this song all the time. But yeah, going back to the song, I love it. It's very hard for me to do the solid sell that Alex has done. So but I personally, out of the two songs, this is my favourite of this album.
This is your favourite of your album?
Yes, yeah.
I thought you said it was.
No, sorry. It's one of my favourites. I know these are all one of our favourite 5 songs, but I'd probably say this is maybe top 2 or 3. You know what I mean? That's me trying to do the hard sell on it being better than.
Yeah, you've certainly gone from it.
I just want to win the points. I don't know. What do you say, Al? I think you did a better argument, I'll be honest.
Yeah.
And there might be a theme here, and you might have to give me some pity points.
Yeah, you might pick some up a lot. But it is, I agree, it's a great song, but it isn't my favourite off your album either, so.
We're going Death on the Stairs.
Yeah, let's go Death on the Stairs there.
I won't be too precious about that, I tried.
You did well, you gave a great argument for it. I think I had 12, I even thought you out a bit.
I helped you out a little bit.
Yeah.
Right, should I go for the next one?
Yeah, let's go.
Weak Become Heroes.
Okay, I guess that is. Funnily enough, next on my list though is Time for Heroes. So we've got what are the chances of that?
Well,
we had 1 in 5 of them lined up, I think.
I think both of these are both singles of the album. Oh, and that's another fun fact that when I was looking into up the bracket, only 2 singles off that album.
I know.
What's that all about?
We say fun loosely as a loose term.
Listen, if you sat here listening to a music podcast, this is as fun as it gets.
Yeah.
No, but the other thing that's weird.
Yeah, no, it is. It's a bit more like what am I trying to say? Like 6 songs. So the singles didn't necessarily appear on the album.
Yeah.
But I like stuff like that because I think you've actually got to go and listen for the deeper chords.
I wonder what the rationale was. That was it weren't that popular, or
yeah, I don't know, because you could have picked more, couldn't you? Or maybe it was a lack of polished sound.
Yeah,
I don't know.
Yeah.
I'd ask AI, but it'll just
make something up.
Yeah.
No, because obviously in the Streets album, it has 4 singles, which I usually think is the standard album. Maybe it all just depends on what the record company's trying to pull.
Maybe it doesn't. I guess if you're doing a music video, it probably gets expensive.
Yeah.
I think weren't Rough Trade in a bit of a difficult. I think they've always been in and out of difficult spots, haven't they? But didn't sort of the Strokes and Libertines start bringing them back out of that?
Yeah. Again, I've gone on a dodge for my song here. To be honest, I'm gonna be honest. I like this song. This is probably my weakest of my 5.
Oh really?
Weakest of my 5. I do really like it. It's very hard when this is sort of rap lyrics for me to talk too much about it. So I'm going to save my energy for the next song because I can't even justify this being better than Time for Heroes. Time for Heroes. I mean, I'll let you do the hard sell on it, but
I don't think you really need to. You just need that little intro
I'll-
guitar, and then did you see the stylish kids in the riot, and then you're off.
I'll let you talk about this song, and then I'll chip in at the end.
Yeah, for a long time, this was my favourite Libertines song. Like I say, I discovered Don't Look Back Into the Sun, Can't Stand Me Now. For some reason, I was just saying, Can't Buy Me Love was in there. So this was probably then the next one, and maybe the first one up the bracket I discovered, and it's a Pete one, and I think it's not right for young lungs to be coughing up, but like just for so many snippets of lyrics that you can just pick out. I think you could
man in a baseball cap.
Yeah, I just think you could do, and how, it's weird that I've actually never heard like Arctic Monkeys reference Libertines. I need to do a deep dive on that, because I think this is them type of lyrics, and I don't want to say if not better, but I think by the time Arctic Monkeys did them and a few bands followed, they were all in a similar vein, and they were more about going out, whereas this was proper like British culture overall.
And I think Time for Heroes in particular. Who's the song credits for this? Is it purely Pete? Is it the pair of them?
I don't know if they did all songs are credited to them both, which I thought they probably would do. I think they sort of chip in, don't they, with each other.
I'll be honest, and I could be doing a disservice to Kylie, it feels like a Pete lyrics at least. I don't know.
Oh, definitely. Him singing, I think it's very much that.
Backed up by his solo music, I don't want to add to that.
Yeah, and I think that's very much the Beatles thing, isn't it? It's probably like 60-40 to the person, if not more.
Yeah, because I know Can't Stand Me Now, and I know like song credits, stuff like that gets all a bit lost, and you never quite know who's done what, but that's credited someone else as well.
Yeah, there's free writers on that. There's them, and weirdly, it's the most polished probably Libertine song. So I wonder if he was in to just. But
you never know what sometimes people get chucked on for being a song.
Yeah, I feel like even back in the day, I feel like there were a lot more genuine. Now you've credit the guy who makes this, and not I produce music not to outdo it, but somebody who might come up for snare. He'll get a credit. Or
I think different genres and different sort of. I guess a lot of it sometimes comes into how they want to pay people who are doing studio time.
Yeah,
so I guess that comes into
there is there's another podcast to listen to, and a bit more professional than ours. But there's like a database website. But I think you need to be like a professional songwriter yourself, so you need to be able to have been, actually got like checks and credits and stuff, but it actually breaks down percentages on there, and it'll say how you've decided to split it. Because there was a Chemical Brothers one, and it was like Forever Be, and one of them took 60% for that particular track, and the other took 40%. So, but I reckon Libertines being them was probably straight out, because they're both.
Yeah, and I remember 1975, Somebody Else by them.
Yeah.
I remember watching a video saying that this has got a secret songwriter on it. I thought, what's the song about? So I watched the video, and it was from a sample that they'd used, and that got a credit, and the sample sounds completely different.
Yeah, you've got to get them cleared.
But like it was the exact sample, but like they've just obviously pitched it up or something like that. So not completely different. Sorry, but you'd maybe recognise the tone of it, but someone's brain wouldn't necessarily go straight to it. But yeah, like that I found that really interesting, that was labelled as a credit. And
but they are for like dance music. You have to credit whoever, anyone else's work you've touched.
Yeah,
you have to.
But I think this was like a free download, that you can get on. I just found that interesting. I'm not all into that sort of stuff like you are quite as much. You know the.
I know it because it's the reason Spotify and them won't have some of their songs because
controversial.
Yeah, because I'm not going free getting samples cleared.
Yeah.
So.
Or jingles for this podcast.
Or jingles to this podcast.
No, again we've done it again.
I know.
Mainly
sorry, don't get me on sampling. It's not. I would be in my bonnet about.
But yeah, I think Time for Heroes. Probably if I had like a top 10 indie songs of all time, it's going first or second.
Yeah, I think you'd recognise that straight off that first guitar chord and the strumming of it. You're in it. It's a song I feel like also makes you want to pick up the guitar.
Yeah, definitely. And I remember seeing Pete Doherty in 2009 at Glastonbury. Another Glastonbury
time.
clan.
So we'd already seen him, and then the second time it made me.
I didn't make you leave. I could not leave. This is what no understanding. I maybe could have passed for you and gone with Bev, but I think that would have been weird and you and Bev just going.
Yeah.
And if I didn't get in because I weren't you.
I didn't think any funny business would happen on that walk.
Why did you say
I
just said it'd be weird.
Flying.
It'd be weird. Both of us just. Yeah, no, it doesn't make sense.
No, yeah. Let's say friends out. Basically, you were just lazy and didn't want to lug your own.
Yeah, I was trying to find.
shit up.
No, hang on. I was not lazy. I just could not leave. I'm saying I maybe could have passed you in the ticket, but that was a risk and that would have been weird.
Yeah, true.
Just made more sense for you to go. And
I
it's
miss
not like you
that,
moaned about it. Or you
got over it pretty quickly, didn't I?
Yeah.
3 to 5 working days.
Oh, Glastonbury be coming up.
I know, don't. I'm actually really sad about it. And then it's not on as well. Well, I don't know what's worse, it being on. No, because we'd have tried for tickets actually, wouldn't we? So.
I've probably not got them. We tried for 4 years. It took us.
It took us that long to
I
get.
do think I got blacklisted for not buying a ticket. You know, when you pay your balance off and decided not to do it.
Yeah.
I think I got blacklisted for a while.
Yeah, hopefully next year. Fingers crossed.
Aren't you away though?
Yeah. Get back for that.
Is that the plan?
Yeah.
How the diary's working.
We might not go away. We might have our own podcasting tent. That.
Yeah. Ooh, that'd be good. Yeah.
That takes off. That'll keep me around.
So if I just say Michael Levis, it'll happen or not?
I think it's passed on to Emily now, Marvin.
Oh yeah.
So say Emily.
Emily Levis.
Emily Levis.
What if she just hears that? That sounds weird.
Yeah, it does sound weird. We said it like 5 times in a row as well. Right, back on track.
Yeah. Okay. So I think we got to Sign Time for Heroes. Won that one just straight out.
Yeah.
No complaints there for me. What's your next song, Alex?
Boys in the Band.
Oh, dude.
Don't know why I tried to do a cowboy thing with that. But
Didn't work.
yeah, it didn't work for like it.
Didn't really get it.
No, sorry.
Something like that's something stuck in your throat.
Yeah, it does. I'm not really great at accents. What have we got against it then, Sam?
Oh, you're not going to do your little...
Oh, should I do my talk first?
I don't know, is that what we did the last time or not?
Yeah, I don't know, we're all over the show, but let's go for it. Boys in the Band, I think a really good example of raw indie pop, the way you get a little bass line coming in, a couple of scatter guitars in and out, then the drums come in. Is it Carl all the way through? Predominantly Carl, let's say. Yeah, I think it's Carl all the way through. A good example of him writing. I think a little mini indie anthem. Underrated. I think that sits outside the singles. Gives the energy of Up the Bracket. Shows what it's about. And just on a little side of saying all this, I did want to mention the producer a little bit of this album, being Mick Jones from The Clash, which I think is a great person to get. They've said, I think in interviews, how much they love The Clash, and I think you can really tell.
Yeah.
It's got that punk, somebody who was around at the time of punk, and also punk and pop. I mean, they probably hate Clash saying pop, but they did have some big songs and sort of crossed over to the mainstream. And I think the vibe that this brings is great. And I think that's all I've got to say on this one. Not my favourite of the album, probably the least of the ones I picked. But I'm happy with it being in my top 5.
Cool. Yeah, I like it. My song... I like your argument for that, and I do really like the song as well. It's probably one of the highlights of the album for me. But my song is, I think this one's better, and I'll argue my case very soon. Building up the tension.
I know, you've got to be tension bits.
Yeah. No,
I'm more a stumble, get it done, in and out, repeat the same sentence in a million
you've got
different
somewhere to
ways.
be after this, haven't you? So, that's the plans. Too Much Brandy. I absolutely love this song. This probably is my favourite on the album. I love it, and again, probably the one that's the least garage. It's probably more of like a dub or like with a bit of reggae sort of style to it, which I just think's just so cool and kind of shows how I know they're all sort of similar sort of dance and sort of rave sort of genres and different bits like that sort of space, but it shows his versatility as an artist, which I think is really really cool. And I just think like it's got like quite a going back to the lyrics with this, he's like sort of narrating as this sort of tipsy sort of like
and it's a
really
really
captures-
clever narrative.
It's a cool story, and that's always been my thing with music. Like I love sort of stories that like obviously I love great sort of sounds and stuff, but when it comes to lyrics, I do love stories.
Yeah, it's that storytelling.
Yeah, I just think you get a lot of bands, and so many bands are so good at it, where it's just sort of I wouldn't say lyric for lyric's sake, but like it works. The music's really good, and sometimes it's catchy. But I love story songs, and this is
story songs about these kind of themes as well. You know that not everyone's writing about. It's quite difficult to get. I'd say it's quite difficult to get right, isn't it? Actually, a song like this.
That's it. And it's like it's
think
that
he
sort
has
of
done
it's that stream of consciousness. It's like you can just sort of picture how he's probably come about. He might have had a drunk night himself and come home and wrote.
I think a lot of this, obviously, personal experience, and I think conversations he's had. Do you know what I mean? It's like this whole album really is. You can imagine him speaking to different people, and he's on nights out, whatever, and he's gone home, wrote about it. You really get that vibe.
No, I just honestly, and like I said, I think this is probably one of the. Probably, I think a lot of sort of Streets fans would say this is probably one of the big ones. You hear a mixed sort of bag because the two albums are both critically acclaimed, but definitely put this in my sort of top two, maybe one of my favourites. Other than if I was doing other Streets overall, I do like a lot of songs from around Don't Come Too Cheap, but this one's like a highlight on this album and something different from a lot of the other songs as well. So and I do prefer it to. What was the song? I've gone off. I'm focused on this. I'm laser focused.
Boys in the band.
Yeah, which I do love, by the way. But I would think, as just if I was just judging the two songs, not the album or the styles of the bands, I'd go for this song.
I'm happy to concede on this one. I think you argued well, and I agree with you. It's one of the standouts for me on the Streets album as well. So
like it.
Happy
thank
to.
God I won one.
No, no hard feelings.
It's not a pity one though.
No, that really isn't a pity one.
Nice.
I wholeheartedly agree with you there.
Love it.
I think you argued quite well. You had a tear in your eye.
Just glad to have got something. Who's Denzel Washington when he didn't get the Oscars said, I'm leaving with something. And they took all the catering food home. I'm leaving with something. Right, should we get on to our next song?
Yeah.
Am I going first?
Yeah, go for it.
The next song that I had is Let's Push Things Forward.
Oh, good one. I'll let you talk about that then for a little minute.
Okie dokie. Well, again, I think what's great about this song, and it's a good music video actually. I think this was another single I'd want to say.
I imagine it would be. It's got.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure. I'm pretty sure it's a single, and probably one of the biggest ones on this album as a popular one. Again, actually, this one is, now I'm thinking about it, another one that's kind of got that ska sort of reggae sort of beat to it as well, which is really cool. But again, it just all comes back, and this is the common theme with this album. Just lyrically, it's so good, and it's kind of like. A lot of sort of garage music's quite repetitive, and a bit probably more similar to Has It Come to This with the that sort of beat, whereas this is again with the reggae sort of stuff, still garage I'd say, but it's sort of it challenges that sort of I want to say that the lyrics sort of challenge the normal conventions of that sort of music, and I think that's why Mike Skinner's so good and why this song's so like sort of defining as a song. And I think now it's you could probably say with both these sort of bands and for the time they could have been, like a lot of albums in that period, maybe at risk of sounding dated, whereas I really don't think this does, and this song's a really good example of not sounding dated. And I think garage music in particular, because of the fast nature of it sometimes and the samples that they might use, can quite easily become dated, but I think with all these songs, especially Mike Skinner's done in particular, I think the lyrics are so good and they're still relevant to this day. Maybe some of the technology and things he's talked about, like PlayStations and things like that, aren't, but you know.
Yeah, I quite a good point there actually. I think the timelessness of both of them is actually a good point to make. Yeah, and I think you're right, because I associate a lot of garage with a proper throwback to that time. Other songs are, you know, like the big one, like Flowers and stuff like that. They're great tunes, but they are of the time, and I love them because
you love them for it. You're not taking anything away.
Yeah, whereas the Streets, I think, still resonates, doesn't it?
Yeah,
and you can still show someone that who wasn't around at that time, and they'll like it.
Well, that's what I mean. Like how many like 18, 21-year-olds will go and watching Fred again, and we're absolutely buzzing that Mike Skinner in the Streets was there. And I know that you know they're at a festival, and it'd just be awesome anyway. But like genuinely, I think most people in that crowd were singing the lyrics to that song as well, which just shows sort of the cultural impact that music does. And yeah, I think this song's a really good example of that, because I just think you could slot that in a lot of rap albums now and it'd be a standout track.
Yeah, definitely. No, I agree with you.
Let's say your song.
Yeah, going to be hard to argue with that. For this one, I've found a couple of facts as well, just because I thought it was it's an interesting song. So I've gone for the title track, Up the Bracket. I think a Libertines classic. Really shows them at the best. And I took a little in breath for a minute, a little dead air time, whilst I was just getting my facts up. Yeah, I think it shows them at the best. Peak energy, everything about it. I think obviously, you know, we've said like Can't Stand Me Now is great and everything, but I think the heart of Libertines is probably this track.
Yeah.
To me, I'd say.
I think it's funny because I probably, when I was listening to Libertines, just listened to the big songs, you know, like spread out across the two albums, really, you know. It was like, I heard Time for Heroes, absolutely loved it. And then probably, I don't know, for whatever reason, just didn't really engage with the album necessarily. It was definitely one of the songs that I heard first, Time for Heroes, and then just went straight to Don't Look Back into the Sun.
Yeah. I think because we were young as well.
Yeah, I don't know what it was.
Probably only caught on a bit later.
Yeah, because I must admit, normally I am very persistent on listening to a full album and past judgment, but with these I just didn't. And it might have just been how I downloaded stuff on my phone. I just downloaded a few songs on my iPod, sorry, not even my phone at that point. And yeah, I just kind of stuck with what I liked and what I knew with them. So I kind of got into the album a couple of years later, weirdly. I don't know why. And I remember hearing this and almost thinking it was as good as Time for Heroes.
Yeah, I think it is. No, I'd say, Time for Heroes probably got the edge, but this is. But do you want to a couple of facts I've got there?
Oh, go on then.
Very interesting. So one's not as interesting, but I think it shows the power of this song and what it is. So in May 2007, NME magazine placed Up the Bracket at number 47 in the list of 50 greatest indie anthems ever. I'd go out on a whim actually and say that 2007 they've probably also named a couple other Libertines songs in there, so I wonder where the others have appeared. But
I'm guessing Time for Heroes is Don't Look Back.
Probably. I seem to think NME magazine loved Time for Heroes, so that's quite high. My other one is, so this is off Wikipedia, but the song alludes to London street crime and tells the story of a romantic couple who refuse to become informants for a pair of gangsters. The gangsters might allude to the Cray twins, since the Cray family lived in 178 Valence Road, which is obviously referenced in the song. So I think lyrically there, that's a very clever way to put it. Do you want to go for points?
I think you did a good case, Al. Your facts added a little bit of sprinkle to it.
It's not been silent for too long.
No, I'm just thinking because in good I actually love, but it's actually harder than I thought it would be with these two songs. Flip some of the orders round.
It is hard because I was thinking yours until the bracket played in my head
Yeah, that's exactly what I did because, and I love Up the Brackets so much. I think it'd be very harsh for me to just pick something else. But we've had this discussion in between doing the podcast where I think we need to nail down. It's the argument that wins it rather than just
Shall
the
we
song.
do the thing I brought to you before? Let's
What?
see how effective it is. We don't know. So basically, we both put a number now in our notes of how well we believe we've argued out of 10, and then we see who gets it. So, should we write a number?
Okay. Let's write a number. I do like
Did I
that
explain that clearly?
Yeah, you did. Right.
So it's more, it's how passionate we feel about the song, about the argument we've done.
Are you going on your notes of your phone here? Because I do not have a pen and paper.
Notes
or a
my
whiteboard
phone.
with a pen.
I've locked mine in, so I'm not touching my phone now. So
Out of 10, did you say?
Yeah.
Okay, I'm gonna go. Are we having decimal points or just pure number?
Just pure number.
What if we both say the same number? Do we not need the decimal?
What if normally decimal you just do 0.5, or so maybe
No,
if
you
you
might
just
be
did
like a.
0.5, would you do a 0.2 or something?
I think maybe do a 0.2.
So you
Okay, no, let's test your theory.
Okay,
You've got
let's
right.
test it.
No
I've got to feel
decimals,
proper
no
put the same
decimals.
number.
But then, hang on a minute. Couldn't I just pick 10?
Well, no, because Jubilee.
No,
in
okay.
your heart, right, it takes a little bit of honesty here.
Alright.
Not to get all passionate about it, but in your heart, do you believe it's a 10? If you genuinely did.
I explained. You know what? I explained why I love this song. So I think for me, it doesn't look crazy what my number is.
Okay. Yeah, me too.
And I've not gone for 10, so you don't even.
Okay, but yeah, even if you're hard, I guess it is off your passion. It does take an element of trust, I guess, but.
We don't trust each other at all.
No. Right, reveal your number. Oh, so Sam's gone 8. I thought he'd say it instead of just showing me so people could hear it.
Oh, sorry. I forget we're not being recorded.
And even if we were, we'd have to quickly
Well,
zoom into your phone.
I do think I showed it straight away. So
Yeah,
I
you
changed
did, you
it.
did,
I did
you
think
did.
that was the reveal.
And obviously, I think this, what my number is, proves that I haven't changed it because it's lower. I went for 6.
For up the bracket?
Yeah.
Oh,
I
I feel
just
hard
felt-
going for an 8.
No, I felt like you argued quite well and stuff, so
Okay.
I'm happy for you to,
Oh,
happy for you to
cheers.
take that
Wow.
one.
Okay, I like that. We'll definitely.
And
do
how
that
elated
stuff.
you are now makes it all worth it.
Love it. Okie dokie. Right. So we've got one song left each, haven't we?
Yep.
You name your song then, Alan.
Let me name my song. My song is The Good Old Days. And I don't have too much to say on it other than it went through a period of being my favourite. Again, I think they both sing on it. I think I really like that duet style. Sorry if I'm wrong there, but I'm positive.
You have 5 songs to listen to, Alan.
No, and I loved it. I think I overplayed this a lot. But the lyric, I will just say, I won't say too much about it because there's a standout lyric of why I picked it.
Oh, I wonder if it's the same lyric that I'm thinking of. Can I say what I think it is?
Yeah, go for it.
Is it the one that starts off with the Arcadian Dream, or is it not?
No, it's not that one.
That's disappointing.
I
I
don't know
thought we were going to be in sync.
No, sorry.
The Arcadian Dream has fallen. Is it? Has all fallen through, but the Albion sails on course.
That is a good lyric.
That's a good line.
That's great. So yeah, no, I'm not saying this is the only lyric I like and the rest are bad in it. But I'm just saying I feel like when I first heard this lyric, this was enough to keep me going back to this song. And it's, if you've lost your faith in love and music, then the end won't be long. And I think it's
like that,
yeah.
No, that's better than the lyric I thought of.
Yeah.
No, because I like that one because it was like a bit about like the sort of like probably drugs.
Yeah. No, I think mine's very much on the nose, but such an honest. Like, who can't relate to that?
Yeah, I think the whole of this song for me, it's kind of like, it's a bit of like, and a lot of people obviously do this in the day-to-day lives, especially when they're out with friends or anything, romanticise sort of the past. You know what I mean? And
Yeah,
that's what this song's
definitely.
about,
And
isn't it?
yeah.
So yeah, that's all I've got to say on this. If you've
No,
you
I'm
might
happy
scrape
that.
the
I'm
barrel.
happy leaving it with that lyric.
Yeah, no, that was a good mic drop. I'll give you that. But please don't drop the mic. So my song that I picked for last is "Don't Mug Yourself," which I think is a great name for a song.
Yeah, it is very on for time, I think.
Yeah, and like I said, a lot of this album and a lot of Mike Skinner's sort of themes, because they're relatable stuff and things. And probably both of these albums, I think we've ended up doing quite well picking these. It's just real. It's very relatable, and it's that reality of sort of like being out and the late night sort of pub culture and cluelessness in like early relationships and different things like that. That's what this song's theme is, and it's very frantic, which I think Mike Skinner's really good at doing. And I really like the beat in this song as well. It's a fat beat. I just wanted an opportunity to say that.
Fat, yeah, I think before I said fat bass. I'll edit them both out. I'll bleep them. It don't feel right to.
No, but I think it's still, again, and I keep saying it, I do think it is just sort of, it's just still relatable now, and I think it's quite timeless. So I think that's I think that's why I picked this song as my final of my top 5 for this album.
Cool. I like your argument on it. Should I repeat the lyric again of what I've cited?
Do you know what? I think because we both with that had some form of a lyric. I think I don't know. I like both these songs. I think they're good choice. But I like your argument. I like the mic drop moment. I thought it was good.
Did you?
I'll give you that one.
Oh really? Thank you very much. No, that would be very nice.
I was so amazed that we'd given it.
No.
But we were hard work on the first podcast with each other, and now
I feel now we need
it's getting to the punchline.
Yeah.
To do it more. Right. Well, I think we've actually done quite a long one there.
Yeah,
today.
I think we have. Sorry, people. I think we're at 2 hours.
Oh God. Are we
Are
actually?
we? I think
Are we
so.
actually?
Yeah. No, we can't.
It can't be 2 hours.
No, we can't be. Longer than Lord of the Rings, Ian.
Well, anyway, if you've stuck through all of this, God help you. No, joking. No, thanks for listening. And we'll be back next week.
Yep. Speak to you then. Bye.